We're going to check out this video. These are totally wrong facts everyone still believes, okay? And we're going to go through them one by one. Here we go. Totally wrong facts that everyone still believes. I have a feeling I'm going to disagree with some of these. I have a feeling. I'll tell you one thing. I remember when I was a kid. My parents used to like yell at me whenever we had to turn the car light on. Whenever we turned the car light, like the light inside the car, we used to get yelled at. And they used to tell us that it was against the law and they would be like locked up for like 7 years if the cop pulled them over because we had the inside light on. Why do parents do that? I don't know. Here we go.
Let's get right into it. Number 10, the sugar high lie. Every parent thinks giving their kids sugar turns them into a tiny tornado.
It does.
But that idea is completely wrong. Scientists tested this. They gave some kids sugar, others got fake sugar.
You know, science
and neither
isn't
the kids
always
nor their
right.
parents knew who got what. The result was absolutely nothing. The sugar kids weren't any more hyper than the no sugar kids, but when parents thought their kids had sugar, they suddenly started seeing them as hyperactive. They watched their kids like hawks, waiting for any sign of energetic behavior. Kid jumps once, they blamed the sugar. Kid laughs, sugar rush. This whole thing started back in the 1970s when a doctor claimed food additives were making kids hyperactive. Parents jumped on that idea immediately. A kid bouncing off the walls at a birthday party probably has more to do with being at a birthday party than the cake they just ate. They're excited, playing with friends, maybe sleep deprived. Those kids would be just as hyper if you gave them sugar-free cake.
I don't believe it.
Number 9.
No, I don't believe it. I don't believe it, chat. I don't believe it. I firmly believe it. I will always firmly believe this. You give kids sugar, they're going to bounce off the walls. They're going to bounce off the walls. Let your kid eat cake for breakfast. I dare you. I dare you and see what happens. Double dog dare you. Give him a candy bar for lunch. Let him drink like all the McDonald's sweet tea possible. Guarantee you those kids are going to be bouncing off the wall. Guarantee it. Only applies to some kids. I bet it's all kids. All kids. Give a kid a Red Bull, but that's caffeine. Does Red Bull have sugar in it? I don't know. Does it?
Isn't slacking off. You've probably heard that humans only use 10% of their brains. That's about as true as saying fish only use 10% of the ocean. This myth is so popular that Hollywood made entire movies about it.
That is a great movie.
The ones where someone takes a magic pill and suddenly they're solving quantum physics while doing backflips. That is a great movie. Your brain is already going full throttle all the time.
I don't believe it.
Scientists can watch brains light up in real time using special scanners, and they see activity everywhere, all the time. Even when you're sleeping, your brain is working. It's controlling your breathing, managing your heartbeat, and replaying embarrassing memories. Your brain only makes up 2% of your body weight. But this overachiever uses 20% of your body's energy. That's like having a tiny space heater that eats all your electricity. If 90% of your brain was really doing nothing, evolution would have removed it ages ago. Nature doesn't keep useless stuff around. The proof is what happens when any tiny part of the brain gets damaged.
I don't believe it.
Even a small injury can cause major problems. This 10% myth likely came from a Harvard researcher in the 1800s who said people weren't living up to their full potential. Then someone misinterpreted that to mean we only use 10% of our brains. Number 8.
One's in chat if you believe we only use about 10 to 20% of our brain. One's in chat if you believe it. If you believe we only use 10% of our brain. Thank you so much for the resub. Thank you for the 17 months, Nova. I appreciate you. W's in chat for Nova with a resub. W's in chat. No! You believe we're using 100% of our brains. I don't. Because I feel like there's a lot of stuff in there that I can't access. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I'm stupid. I feel like I'm too dumb. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm smarter than what I think I am, but I just can't access the smartness. Do you know what I'm saying? No, but thank you so much for the 17 months. I appreciate you. Thank you for the resub. I appreciate you. Give a kid a Red Bull. They will grow wings and the brains will work at 500%. Exactly. Bros evolving with each stream. I am, Kim. I am. Brains just don't function all the same. I just don't believe it.
Pennies from heaven won't kill you. You've probably heard that a penny dropped from the Empire State Building could punch through someone's skull. That's
Dude, the drawings are great.
When someone drops a penny from up high, it starts falling, picking up speed thanks to gravity. But then air resistance kicks in. Air isn't empty space. It pushes back against anything moving through it too fast. The penny hits these air molecules and starts tumbling. By the time it falls about 50 feet, it reaches terminal velocity, which is just 25 miles per hour. That's slower than an average bicycle rider.
That's
Getting
not
hit by a
true.
penny at that speed would feel like someone flicking you. Annoying, but not fatal. If you drop that same penny in
I
a
don't believe
vacuum,
that.
like space, it would reach speeds over 200 miles per hour. But down here on Earth, you're more likely to get seriously hurt by a falling ballpoint pen. Those are aerodynamic enough to act like tiny arrows. Number 7.
All right, so you're telling me, let me make sure I have this right, bro. You're telling me if I jump out of a plane, and I'm free falling, I'm only falling at 25 miles an hour? There's no way. There's no way. You're trying to tell me that that penny's only going to fall at 25 miles an hour? Absolutely not. If you get hit in the head by a penny, I feel like the penny's just going to go right through you. If somebody dropped a penny from the top of the Empire State Building and you're standing somehow directly underneath of it, I feel like the penny's just going to go right through you. Right through you. I think we don't use 100% of our brain's potential, but we use 100% of our brains. I guess I kind of agree with that. I don't know if I use 100% of my brain because I feel like I'm an imbecile. Like Patrick Starr's flexible IQ, I did jump out of a plane. Did you fall at 25 miles an hour? Terminal velocity of a human is about 100 miles an hour. So why is there different velocities? Isn't gravity the same? Isn't gravity the same no matter? You ever seen have you ever seen the project that you did in school where you had a bowling ball in one hand and you had like a pin in the other or something like light and you drop them at the same time and they hit the ground at the same time because they're falling at the same speed? Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
Lightning's repeat offender status. The saying lightning never strikes the same place twice is wrong. The Empire State Building gets hit by lightning around 25 times.
But that's because the Empire State Building is like one of the tallest buildings in the world.
Times every year. There was a park ranger named Roy Sullivan who got struck by lightning 7 different times. They called him the human lightning rod. He survived all 7 strikes. After the 4th strike, his co-workers started avoiding him during storms.
I would too.
Lightning often hits the same tall objects repeatedly. If you're the tallest thing around, like a lone tree in a field, you're basically a target during a storm. Lightning can strike miles away from the actual storm. These are called bolts from the blue because they can come out of a clear blue sky. You could be out there when the sky looks clear, and suddenly lightning strikes. Number 6, Viking.
Yeah, that's not terrifying. Can you imagine just walking around, then all of a sudden you just get struck by lightning on a clear blue day? How terrifying is that? Feather falls slower because of air pressure? No. I mean, like if I have a block, like we got this block. I got this block here, right? A Jenga block, right? And then I have this. 2 very different objects, right? Don't ask why I have a spoon. 2 very different objects and I drop them at the same time. They hit the floor at the same time. Even though they're different shapes, different weights. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
Vikings left their horns at home. Vikings never wore horned helmets into battle. This whole horned helmet thing was made up by theater costume designers in the 1800s. They were designing costumes for opera performances and thought horns looked dramatic. They accidentally created one of history's biggest fashion lies. Going into battle wearing something that gives your enemy 2 perfect handles to grab is not practical. Or the horns could get stuck on tree branches during a raid. The real Viking helmets that archaeologists have found were plain protective gear, maybe with a nose guard. They did find some horned helmets in Denmark, but these were from 3,000 years before the Vikings. These ancient helmets weren't for fighting. They were ceremonial.
So like Vikings didn't wear horns on their helmets?
Some opera costume designers from the 1800s likely saw these ancient ceremonial helmets and thought, perfect, let's make the Vikings wear these. Now millions of people think Vikings ran around with horns on their heads. Number 5, your razor isn't making you hairier. You've probably heard that shaving makes your hair grow back thicker and darker.
It does. Look at me. Look at me, chat. Look at me. Do you think I got this? Do you think I got this from not shaving? I mean, after like when I'm like growing up and stuff like that, like when I first started shaving and stuff, I guarantee my hair grew back thicker and darker. I had to start shaving when I was like 15.
That's complete nonsense. When you shave, you're giving each hair a tiny flat top haircut. Imagine cutting a tree straight across with a chainsaw. That stump feels rougher than the natural tapered end of a branch. Same thing happens with your hair. When it grows back, it feels thicker because you've created thousands of tiny flat-topped hair stumps. Scientists have studied this for decades. They found shaving has 0 effect on your hair growth. Your hair's thickness, color, and growth rate are locked in by your genes.
Well, yeah, that's
that
a part
razor
of it.
isn't reprogramming your DNA. If
That's a
shaving
part of
really
it.
made hair grow thicker, every balding guy would be shaving their head daily. We'd have found the cure for baldness in a can of shaving cream.
True.
But Jeff Bezos is still bald, despite being able to afford infinite expensive razors.
I shave my head, it
the
doesn't
myth
grow back.
persists because the stubble feels convincing when it grows back. It's the same old hair, just with a blunt end. Number 4, swim whenever you want. Your mom probably told you to wait 30 minutes after eating before swimming, warning you'd get cramps and drown. This myth is so widespread, even lifeguards used to enforce it. But there's zero evidence swimming after eating is dangerous. Not a single documented case exists of someone drowning because they ate before diving in. The theory—
Okay, I will admit, I've never heard of somebody, like, getting cramps after eating and then going swimming.
was that after eating—
Have you?
Blood rushes to your stomach for digestion, leaving arms and legs without enough blood, causing cramps. But our bodies can handle both digestion and swimming.
These
You might
drawings
get
are
a
great,
minor
though.
cramp if you swim intensely right after a huge meal, similar to running after eating.
Well, yeah.
The American Red Cross confirms this isn't a real danger. Competitive swimmers actually eat during their training sessions. Maybe don't eat an entire pizza right before intense swimming.
Well,
Number
I
3,
would.
your head isn't a heat chimney. Your mom probably told you, put on a hat or you'll freeze to death. That whole, you lose 50% of your body heat through your head thing is nonsense. This myth started with an old Army survival manual claiming 40 to 45% of body heat escapes through
Then it's
your
got to be
head.
true.
But in their test, they dressed people in full winter gear and left their heads exposed. Of course, most heat escaped through their heads. It was the only part not covered. Your head makes up about 10% of your body's surface area, so it can only lose about 10% of your body heat. Heat loss is actually proportional to whatever skin is exposed. Your head might feel extra cold because it has more blood vessels close to the surface, but you're not actually losing significantly more.
You ever seen football players or like American football players on like cold days where they take their helmets off and it's like steam? Like they look like it's just steam coming. They're not steaming from anywhere else. They're steaming from their head. They're wearing short sleeves, right? They got like short pants on or whatever, and they take your helmet off and it's just like poof.
More heat there compared to other exposed body parts. The only time this advice actually makes sense is for babies and small kids. Their heads are proportionally bigger compared to their bodies, so they do lose more heat up there. But for adults, your uncovered arms will lose just as much heat as your uncovered head.
I don't think so.
Number 2, goldfish memory. Everyone says goldfish have a 3-second memory. That's complete nonsense.
I have
These
a goldfish
fish are actually
memory.
pretty smart. Scientists put goldfish in mazes. They not only solved them, but remembered the solution months later. These fish can even recognize faces. Imagine being a goldfish, swimming in your bowl, thinking, oh look, it's Dave again with the food. They can also learn tricks. Some goldfish trainers have taught them to do things like swim through hoops or play soccer. Some goldfish have learned to tell different pieces of music apart. And they can do all this with a brain smaller than a pea. Scientists think studying goldfish brains might help us understand human memory better. Number 1.
Really?
Gum doesn't stick around for years. That story about swallow—
Yeah, I used to get this one when I was a kid too. Like, don't swallow your gum; it'll stay in your stomach for 7 years. I used to get this one. This one was one my parents like preached to me. Don't swallow your gum. Make sure you spit it out, and then you'd swallow it and you'd be like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna die."
Swallowed gum staying in your stomach for 7 years is a lie. When you swallow gum, it travels through your digestive system just like any other food. The only difference is that your body can't break it down. Think of gum like corn kernels. It just passes right through. Most gum is out of your system within 1 to 2 days. It doesn't stick to your insides. Your stomach is constantly moving and pushing stuff along. And those stories about gum causing problems, unless you're swallowing huge amounts of gum constantly, you're probably fine. Humans have been chewing random stuff for thousands of years. Ancient Greeks chewed tree resin. Mayans chewed chicle. None of them died from 7 years of gum buildup. Gum won't stick in your stomach, but it can stick on sidewalks for years. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future.
Chap. I don't know. Some of those, you didn't change my mind on anything that I didn't believe in. Like the whole penny from a high place thing, the sugar thing. I feel like if you give kids sugar, they're going to bounce off the walls. The whole penny thing. I feel like if you get hit with a penny that was dropped from way up high, it's going to hurt. It ain't going to feel good. I can tell you that. I know that much. What was another one? Pennies from heaven. I feel like my brain, there's no way I have 100% access to my brain. The lightning repeat offender status, Vikings, okay. The razor thing, shave. Like if you want, yeah. It'll, in my opinion, it'll be thicker. Now the swimming, I used to get this when I was a kid. My parents used to tell me that one all the time. The head thing, I don't believe. Goldfish memory, I mean, that's interesting. I've never seen a goldfish be trained to do all that though. Gum doesn't stick around. Yeah, nobody believed that. That's all kid stuff. But I'm telling you, the big one that my parents used to do was the car light inside the car. Anytime you turned on the car light that's inside the car, they would get so angry. They'd be like, "We're gonna be thrown in jail because of you wanting to turn on the car light." Legitimately, all the time. Why do people tell these white lies? I don't know.